thank you. Okay, so next we go to Fidis update.
Okay, thank you very much, Mr. Chair. So in Traveloka, we have applied three properties as been told by last week. However, the process for it to go live is actually quite long, apparently. And the live one is only two because one of our the listing got pended for some reason. Therefore, the one that has been applied for campaign is two, which is the Traveloka 7 days discount of 10%. And there are no sales yet from this one, but we are trying to boost the performance by using the campaign natively by Traveloka. An example of the campaign have been showed in the screenshot. That's the update for BI5 B52, and for BIE3 A0. The update is only the update of policy for the cleanliness protocol, as well as the application of the discounts. And actually, there are one friction, which is the application of pricing through toolkit actually takes a long time. And therefore, in the future, we might need to have might need to request product development to develop something for us to enhance this process of changing prices as well as the discounts through toolkit. Okay, that's it for the update from my side. Thank you, Mr. Chair.
Oh, okay, thank you, Fidis. Anybody has any question? No? Okay, then I'll move on to my update. For this photo catalog, there is no update yet. And I'm thinking to change the reporting for my sales campaign. I mean, the reporting is still the same. It's just for the inquiries. I'm planning to divide it per area because lately I got a lot of inquiry from Semina, and maybe if we have it recorded based on area, we can, I don't know, maybe we can know which supply we are missing on. Maybe, yeah. That's all from my update. Anybody has any question? No? Okay, then we'll move on to Tara's update. Hello, Tara.
Hello. Yes. So my updates are okay. So there have been 0 inquiries coming in from the landing page in regards to potential owners and stuff. And I believe that the demographic on the Google Ads and the keywords really needs to be improved. The bounce rate is good. I checked for like the past week, and I can provide a screenshot in a bit, but it's like consistently around 60%, which I've learned from the recent professional networking that's pretty good for a landing page. So I'm less worried about the fact that it's at 60%, but yeah, there have been 0 like conversions to inquiries, so that should be an improvement. However, I think we should all keep in mind that right now, but at least previously, Masuizawa was running a Facebook ad campaign, and there were a lot of inquiries coming in from there. And I believe it was way more viable going through that route during that time. Yeah, I think we could somehow replicate that, maybe on the landing page, like the same type of messaging or something, that would be really helpful. But it's a bit difficult because it's a whole landing page as opposed to a single ad. So I'll see what can be done for that. Yeah, so that's basically my update right now. And yeah, I'm just starting Instagram stories when it comes to the Instagram campaign. I'm starting out by slowly testing out polls to see how many people even answer them. It's just simple questions like, who's in Bali, who's going to be coming for New Year's, stuff like that. And engagement is somewhat low. It's still like around 10-ish people like every time. So I don't know, maybe brighter colors, and also maybe just posting way more. Maybe people will actually answer at least one of the, or just interact with stories that way. So yeah, we'll see. It's still kind of new. And yeah, that's all my updates for that.
Oh yeah, Tara, thank you. Actually, Lilis mentioned it in the activity. Like, if you can provide screenshot,
I have some ready. I just didn't put them in yet.
Okay.
Yes, I will put them. Thank you for the reminder, though, Joseph and Kak Linus. Yep.
Okay, thank you. So, anybody else have question? Yep, Kak Lilis.
What is actually landing page that you mean? Is that all
Oh,
the
the property management one.
because
Yeah,
you said that
sorry.
there is no
Yeah.
transaction, right?
Sorry?
Because you mentioned just now there is no transaction or something like
Oh,
reservation
no conversion
or
to
conversion.
inquiry.
Okay, right.
Yeah.
Okay, sure. Thank you.
Okay, anybody else? No? Okay, then we'll move on to Firas update. Firas,
Oh,
please.
thank you. Can you hear my voice?
Yep, clear.
Okay. So yeah, my updates is that the first one we have decided the property catalog layout and design. I've discussed it with Kalilis, and Kalilis asked to Kariza, Kavidi, and I asked to Mas Gani, and I've decided from their perspective. I combine it, and also I have understand and tested the way to make property details pages in strikingly. So it's like when you tap the picture, you can go to the details pages, which yeah, it's different than the previous layout. So and the previous layout we have to click on like the button, the more information button. So in this case, we're reducing the buttons. We put like only one button, so it's more user friendly. And I also have understand and tested the way to make the anchor link from content list sub page. So we would like to put like list like luxury property and middle property and also unique property on the top of the page. And so when they click that, they can redirect it to the what is it the for if you click the luxury button, you can direct it to the luxury property section, and so forth. And also I also have understand the and tested the way to integrate Google Form notification to Slack channel. And also it's expected to be execute the advertisement using Instagram ads by next week or sooner, maybe, yeah, next week on October 19th. And I think that's all. Yeah, this is attached the what is it the design that is that we have decided. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, Vira. So just to clarify, for the intern orientation, there is no update.
Yeah.
Okay,
Our,
just
yeah, okay, just stick to task.
okay. Just next time, if you have no update, don't forget to put the label.
Sure, thank you.
Okay, thank you. Yep. Anybody has any other thing to say? No. Okay, then we'll. June?
Just that.
Oh, yep. Kalilis.
Actually, I noticed that there is updates on the first card. Just to clarify, what is no update means, Vira? So it means you do nothing with the card, but I see that you track two topics here. It means you done two topics for this task, basically. So there is updates. Yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, okay.
I checked to task.
Okay. Thank you. Sorry for the misunderstanding. And next to Jinx, maybe you don't have any cut, but if you have anything to say, no. Okay, then we move on to Wayanas. Cut. Hello, Mak Wayan. You are muted, Mak.
Okay,
Okay.
okay, Puma. I don't have any update. Actually, I just still preparing my pivot to the paid campaign, and yeah, so we still do the mapping and prepare for the test as well. So I have no update for this. I'm still preparing my pivot.
Oh, okay. So no update, ya, Mak?
Yes.
Okay. Anybody? Oh, yeah, sir.
I got an update actually. This is for Fira. Fira, I got some good news. I just checked. Maybe everyone can check on their own web browser on a incognito search for Bali long-term rental. It went quite up. It went from being like I think number 7 or 8 to number 2 and 3 now. So you should be seeing more traffic. Also to Tara as well. There should be more traffic coming in on Bali long-term rental. I think we upgraded a few spaces on the SEO now. That's just a. Anyways, I'll post the finding on the paper or on the trail card.
Thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Okay, thank you, sir. So I guess there's no more left. Mrs. Secretary, can you share your screen and share the update?
Yep. Okay. All right then. So Lily said that today there's one on-site visit today, and she will continue the campaign until basically the end of this month. Man, yeah. Let me know if I've gotten the details correctly, everybody, by the way. And then Gottlieb said that we've already applied 3 properties on Traveloka. However, like the journey to having it go live and like apparently the Toki pricing is also another friction. Like apparently there's still some complications with this, like with both of his cards at the moment. And yeah, there's no sales yet from Traveloka. Sorry, very similar words. And product development may need to jump in and help shorten the journey when it comes to the Toki pricing, as it takes a long time. And for Joseph, he wants to change the way he reports for the sales campaign regarding the agents. He wants to maybe divide by area. That way we can easily see where our supply is lacking at the moment, which I think, yeah, good idea, by the way. And for my update, yeah, 0 inquiries coming in from the property management landing page. We'll try to replicate, yeah, I forgot to finish that sentence. We'll try to replicate how the Facebook ads messaging was for potential property owners and stuff like that. And I will continue with the Instagram stories. And then for Fira, she had quite a lot of updates. So yeah, she finally decided like the layout and design of the catalog, inputted details, has put in a button for user friendliness, used anchor links, has integrated Google Forms to Slack, and will also be utilizing Instagram ads starting kind of next week. And then Jing updated that Bali long-term rentals? Did I get that right?
So there's 2 formats. Bali long-term rental and long-term rental Bali were ranked number 3 on an incognito search for both terms. So
I see.
it's pretty good.
That is
be due to on-page modifications, but it could also be due to backlinks. So, but anyways, it's good. It means it should receive more traffic.
Yeah, agreed. And then Moana, I believe there was no update in the end. So yeah, those are the updates. Back to Joseph.
Okay, thank you, Taras, for the notes. That's very helpful. And now we'll move on to the Tableau. Okay, so when I take a look at this, like an hour ago, I noticed that the monthly revenue compared to the last 3 months. Wait, yeah. Even though we are still at 14 October, but our revenue is almost exceeding September. I mean, almost the same as September. If the proportional went well, by the end of October, we should have 30,000 something. So it means that we are performing better from September. So that, wait, I've not yet shared my screen.
Yes, please.
Yeah.
I'm sorry.
That's okay.
Oh, okay. Okay, so for monthly revenue, if we compare it to the last 3 months, even though it's still 14 October today, but we are getting close to what we achieved in September. And if the proportion went right, we should have around 30,000 something at the end of October. So yeah, I think we did a great job. And for the booking pace daily, I think it went quite stable, even though it went up and down. But yeah, it's still around 8 to 5. Anybody have? Yep, that's from my insight. Anybody have any other insight from this page? No. Okay then. For the growth, we actually have 93.9. I think it's because the month is not yet ended in September. We perform better in September and then in August. And I believe if from what I saw in the monthly revenue, we should perform better in this month. So yeah, hopefully the growth is getting more closer to zero. Yep. Anybody has maybe any insight from this?
Yep. A quick question just to confirm. From BV history, October will perform worse than September, right, sir? Usually.
Usually, but as you can see, it's not too far off from 2019.
Yep.
It was 366 versus 321. I just did a quick calculation. If we're going to do as good as September, we need to get 25,000 into the end revenue. That would be, wait, let me see. What was September, Joseph? Can we scroll over real quick? Was it 92? Sorry, I mean September this year, last month.
September this year. Oh, okay.
92.9. Oh, actually, wait. It's not as. If we want to do as well as September, then we just need to get 7%. 22,000 gets us as good as September. If we're able to get above 22,000, well, 22,500. If we get above 22,500, then we're doing better each month, relatively speaking, than the previous. It makes sense. We're sort of growing our way out of the hole.
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Makes sense, sir.
Okay.
Okay then. I guess no more insight or okay, we'll move on to the RM tools. Okay, so wait, yeah, okay. What I noticed is that most of the popular inquiries are not certified by CSE. So
Funny.
I don't know if maybe it's not yet all certified, but from what I see, from the top 5, only one is certified. So yeah, that's and not much is changing. I mean, inquiries from Jogja is still dominating.
A question. Over to.
Oh yeah, sir.
Okay, this is over to Vivian Lillis. Wouldn't it be a really good idea to ask community to get those properties CSC certified? Because we will lose those if we don't get them certified. Is that correct?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well,
Right.
but again, I think
So-
I tried updating the Tableau certified list,
Uh-huh.
but some don't register for some reason.
No, PD. I mean, related to mandatory.
Oh yeah. I mean, from the list,
Oh,
yeah, from the list, I checked that, for example, yeah, but Jonesy is not certified, but I believe there are some that are actually certified but not registered as certified for some.
Okay. I think everything in that top 10 list should be a priority to get certified for community.
Yeah, I believe they're using this lister for the prioritization of certification.
Okay. All right.
Okay, thank you for the insights. So, any other insight from this page?
I actually have a question. It's not about this page exactly.
Yep.
It's regarding the people of origin. Like, this is a question that I've had for a while. It's because the number one like demographic of like guests at the moment are Indonesians, right? Which is understandable. But then why? I believe the U.S. came afterwards, and I'm just confused why foreigners are even going at the moment, right? Like, yeah, just anybody have an answer to that question? Because I believe, yeah, over to
Yep, Maoen.
Actually, I noticed also like guests from other country coming because the owner of the big one of the villa in Bingin also in Bali.
Mhm.
I believe it's just people is moving around, but it's not like what you call announced, but not like officially from the country. I think
Uh,
country is afraid that they are open first announced that they open first or something. But people, it's moving around like from outside of the country. I see like two of villa owner that coming to Bali, but I happen meet them and I would like to ask actually how is the process.
Yeah, that would be great because I'm just like I feel like they're passing a lot of like laws, like literally like foreigners shouldn't be entering the country right now. Also, a lot of foreigners shouldn't be leaving their countries. So it doesn't really add like rich people. Like that's what I was wondering this whole time.
I,
Maybe they just had.
I have a good
Yeah.
news to show everyone. There's two possible explanations I think for Tara's question. One is on Tableau. It could be some of the guests that were already here, right, are extending their stay. So they're not
Right.
necessarily arriving. They're just people who are trapped in the pond, so to speak. The
Oh,
second,
okay.
I'll share my screen too as well. Joseph, you can keep on sharing your screen, but let me share this. Just as an
Oh, okay.
announcement, one of my friends can get you into Bali if you need to get in. They run a visa service and they do a single entrance visa sponsored by their own company. And the normal process is it's about 9 million if you want the VIP package. It's about 7 million if you don't need the VIP package. And yeah, that's apparently one of the ways you can get to Bali now, or you can get in and
Yeah.
you have a
Nice.
amount of $1,500 and a photo of your passport, and you're in.
I see. I was not aware that there were services like this. Okay, that makes sense. I guess people are trying to profit off of
Well,
people wanting to go to Bali.
when you go over there, you see a ton of places that are supposedly supposed to be closed, but they are not actually. So yeah, there's definitely something going on. There's like
Yeah.
people in the know and people who are not in the know.
Yeah, okay. I just wanted to ask mostly because after the US came a lot of European countries and it's like, I mean, yeah, just the
Uh,
situation here really isn't good. So it's just a bit strange that they were somehow leaving. I just thought it wasn't allowed, but okay. Thank you for your answers.
Okay. Thank you. So I guess we are done with this Alan tools, and we'll move on to discussion minutes on board. Okay, I think we'll start with this first. The Jinx, your awareness of lookalike audience on Facebook. Do you want to lead the discussion? Like,
Uh,
or you wanna-
Actually, so Fira has something to say. Okay, let me go to Fira then, I guess.
Oh, yeah. Thank you. So, I saw that the awareness lookalike audiences on Facebook. I read that on Google. It's like you're putting like if I'm not mistaken, you're putting like categories of your audiences of your advertisement audiences. So and Facebook will like approach those people with specific characters that we input, right?
Yes.
And so I think we can utilize the context that we have that you put on on uh on the upper column. You put like an Excel of customer guest data. I think we can classify from that and we can find like their characters, and we can after we find the characters, we can put it on Facebook lookalike audiences feature.
What I'm
I
talking
think
about.
that's
Yeah. Okay, so thank you, Vera, for that. So one thing that I just found that could solve a lot of our problems, is this: we seem to build community or build our audience in sort of a vacuum, right? We sort of hope that by doing something, we'll get more people, but we don't need to work that way. We have technology. So let me tell you kind of like the three stages of setting up a community. The first stage when you set up a community is that you need to have personal relationships with the people in that community. You really need to meet them, you need to see them, you need to have some contact, share some stories so that they feel something about you. The second stage is once they feel something about you, you can carry that offline relationship online through WhatsApp, through Facebook, through Instagram, because generally speaking, people won't engage with you unless they kind of know you, right? If you look at your friends list, if you look at your social media feeds, how many people do you engage with who are total strangers? Not a lot, right? But okay, once you get to that stage, you need to reach a certain critical mass. Generally, I understand it's about 300. You need to get about 300 contacts together that are active and engaged with you regularly. You can take those 300, plug it into ads, and now Facebook can actually seek out millions of other people similar to the 300 people that you engage with who might have the same interest, who might have the same habits, who might have the same approach to life that or 300 have. Okay, why is that interesting? Because are I think we need to think about how to utilize this effect in terms of a strategy. So currently, we have like an agent strategy, right? We have a Airbnb strategy, we have a Facebook strategy, we have an Instagram strategy, but we are not milestoning it, so to speak, right? What's our milestone until we can go to the next level? The way I see it, once we know about lookalike audiences, it's like a three-stage rocket, right? So your first stage is to get high engagement. Your KPIs are high engagement with a small group of people. Your second stage is you want to transfer that same engagement online, but now through the medium of social media. Your third stage is now you're taking that engaged audience and you're amplifying it by putting it through lookalike audience. So I think we've talked about this already, and we'll see the results on Friday. Yeah. So there's 5,000 contacts in our guest contacts already. There's probably more if we look for them. But if we give, let's say, Facebook this data, can they find 50,000 more people who might join our Instagram, right? Based on the 5,000 core audience members that we have. But once again, it's about timing again. Do we need to build up that audience onto our Instagram profile through direct reach, through direct outreach until we get to that point? So anyway, I just wanted to raise this tool and this idea of community building into this group. And then what I'm looking for is, can we creatively create campaigns, programs to really think about how we're amplifying this, right? It could just probably sit on top of one of our existing campaigns, but it will add more energy to it. Okay, anyways, I'll open up the floor for more discussion. Back to Joseph. Back to the chair.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, anybody has anything to say about this? No.
I
Oh,
I don't
who's
have
that? Oh,
I don't have any idea.
Yeah, I haven't think one. Maybe later.
Okay. Okay, then I guess we'll move on first. To this. What's this? The whale, dolphins, and tuna. So,
This is just a general BI concept. I've spoken about this already with Vidya and Lilith last week, but just to kind of get into more. When you create a marketplace like what we have here at Bukit Vista, 150 different properties, think about the composition. You need tuna represents minimum quality, but a lot of supply. These at Bukit Vista would be our guest houses. They are minimum quality, but there's a lot of rooms available in that segment. The next segment is a dolphin, things that are not minimum, they're more like high quality and unique and very aspirational, right? So these are like our villas, maybe our tree houses, some of the more, these are the properties you would go home and you would tell somebody, I stayed at this when I was in Bali. You probably might not tell everybody you stayed in the guest house in Bali, but you need that second tier, which is a dolphin. The third tier is a whale, which is something that is just absolutely incredible. Like maybe the, I don't know, sunrise house, a bamboo structure, or if you could get it, maybe President Sukarno's presidential home here in Bali, right? That would be something that would be a whale. That's like not necessarily for business, but for brand, for PR, it's very, very valuable. So when you, when why is this insightful for me? After I discovered it, I didn't feel so sad about bringing in so many guest houses anymore, right? because I was thinking, oh, we're always bringing guest houses, and can't we aim for something better? But any effective marketplace, let's face it, not everybody has a budget for like a villa. So you need to sell tuna. Tuna is like for everybody. Occasionally you get some dolphins, and then the whales are what you brag about. The whales are what like creates, oh, when people think about your company, they think about the whale. Okay, so far we have no strategy to get whales actually, and we don't really have a concrete strategy to get dolphins either at the moment. But I'd like to discuss an idea with this chapter about how we can get more dolphins. And that part is kind of linked to this lookalike audience as well. And that part's also linked to BVE talk. I'll put it up on the discussion.
Oh, okay. So anybody has any idea on how to get dolphins? Mm,
Uh,
yeah, Kalilis.
so dolphin is something like sunrise house, right? So that you just mentioned.
Depends. I mean, sunrise could be a whale too. It's so unique. It's so
Yeah,
traditionally.
that may be the first thing that we should what is that define? I mean, what is actually for our business? I mean,
Oh.
what is actually whales, and then so we can segment it into. We have field canvassing now, right?
Okay.
So
Yeah.
perhaps we can connect to it also.
Sure. I would say at the moment within Bukit Vista, whales are probably like the beachfront villas, right? The bamboo villas, the rumah pertama type villas. These are the things that you would be proud to tell people that you represent these properties, right? The dolphins in our category are probably like the villas or the properties that have no ocean view. So they're kind of like the segment behind that. So maybe like something in Seminyak or Mi Villa or whatever else. They're more utilitarian, not so aspirational, but still fine property, right? The tuna is just the commodity type guest houses. Like, what is the difference between one tuna and the other tuna? Well, if it's not used in sushi, then okay. Or like you think of canned tuna, then it's kind of like all the same, right? It's just protein. So that's like our guest houses, the things that there is really no distinguishable difference. So that's kind of like what we have, yeah.
Yeah. So I also think of this way. I mean, I agree with your conclusion. I think currently the is on time, but sometimes perhaps I would also ask Mawayan. We still in our property like 30 bedroom something is that's a guest house, I guess. Perhaps I need to ask also Mawayan. It's not currently the market demand as we prove. We advertise the villa, one bedroom villa in Seminyak, which is 7 million a month, and also 1.5 million a month for a guest house, and it is not sold yet. Even it is 2.5 million a month. So it is a small data that proves that we really need dolphin. So perhaps for the field canvassing strategy, just focus on villa. What do you think? I mean,
Yeah.
Yeah.
So for the canvassing and the marketing now actually targeting a dolphin because as BI we do this practice based on per request BI, but it's proved its work. So yeah, from since then we targeting dolphin instead.
yeah. Why I'm bringing this because for example, we brings up like tuna guest houses, then we can't sell it. Like for example, like what is the name for the Ubud one? Pemulan, yeah,
Pemulan.
We cannot sell them even one night until now, right? So it also uh, related to our brand. I mean, Bukit Vista because we can't sell it, right? So I'm thinking of that too. And if we work like how we sell the Bali Prime, we also can build a good relationship with the manager and owner, and also we can use that as a selling point when we want to target another dolphin. Basically, we have a success story. That's a good strategy that actually it just comes up on my mind. So, yep.
Yeah, I agree with that, Lilis, because for us is we want only targeting the property that sell, so that we are like being productive, not just like canvassing that property that is not sell, kind of waste our time as well.
Yep. Yep.
Unless like existing owner, like Mok Lulik, like yeah, one
Mhm.
board
Right.
and set expectation with guest house is not sell for this period, and then she understand. So, but she still want to onboard, and then we will not refuse that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Uh, and also even the guest house, like we are doing tam tribe in Sesa, it's very good. Like have a rice field, and then owner agreed to sell kitchen, the big kitchen, but actually I can see that I have many people. I also tried to post it on myself, and I see many people asking, but I don't sell any of it. So uh, I know that even the cheap in the good property, but it's guest house is not sell. So yeah, for upcoming strategy for the thing, I think we will target dolphin above.
Okay, thank you, Mo. Yes, sir.
Let me ask a question. Does anybody know if the Alchemist is getting bookings? No.
No,
I have
No,
one inquiry for Alchemist, but no booking, sir.
no booking.
Yeah, no conviction yet. Yeah.
Okay, so Alchemist is actually a tuna right now.
yes, it
It's
is guest
normally
house.
a dolphin, but now it looks like it's a tuna.
Yeah, because have no private kitchen, basically like a guest house very much.
Okay, so even if it's a dolphin guest house or dolphin type property before, it wouldn't be like La Jolla Bubu. Does that get bookings?
It, I don't know.
Not a lot.
Not a lot. Okay, so that's really interesting, right? Because those used to be dolphins, but not anymore, right? Everything that used like kind of was in the dolphin category, or even whales for that matter, is not anymore. So the fact is, then, babe, that if you do find guest houses, even if they're very beautiful guest houses, like they got ocean views, rice paddy, might still be a tuna.
Yeah, I agree.
Yeah.
But I think for that kind of matter is while you can passing if owner really want with us and
Yeah. Yeah.
quality and
I
not on.
understand that problem.
Yes.
Well, I think you can kind of keep it in your back pocket, maybe. Like just sort of say, okay, all right, since we found it anyway. The other constraint, everybody in BI, is that sometimes when we go on the field, it's not exactly, how would I say? It's not exactly we can get whatever. We're sort of like hunters and
Yeah.
gatherers, right? So if we find something, we find something. If we don't, it's not like, it's like if you live in a hunter gatherer tribe, you don't get to order what you want for dinner. You sort of like, if you find a chicken, you're eating chicken. If you find, like boar, you're eating wild boar. So in that direction, it is a little bit. So then the question is, if you only find, let's say, if you only find tuna, what should you do? Should you throw it away, or should you kind of like bring it back and maybe nurture it, hope that it'll get some bookings? In this particular case, babe, I think any kind of tuna doesn't work. So we're probably better off conserving our energy, putting it at the top of funnel, getting more leads through the funnel, and then finally sifting out the dolphins in it. Yeah,
Yep.
yeah, rather than any bottom funnel energy.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, Vidi.
Oh, okay. Okay, thank you, sir. And Moayan. Oh, yeah, Vidi.
Yep. Maybe just quick question, right? Since we're trying to get dolphin and whales, for example, right now, from marketing side, what are the other constraints aside from the hunter-gatherer analogy? Are there any problem with our baits?
Very good question. Thank you, Vidi. I think that's an excellent question. One, we are not supercharging what we are discovering. So we go out and we collect phone and WhatsApp numbers from everywhere, right? But this is very much like fishing with a line. So in that analogy, we're sort of like we're using the same bait each time. To amplify it, this is where the lookalike audience could probably come in, right? So I don't know when, if you're sitting with Rizal and Aldo over there.
Yes.
So this is where you could amplify it. Maybe after a certain point of getting those contacts in, we start feeding the contacts that succeed through a lookalike audience, and then generating more top of funnel activity. The other thing that I've been really thinking, okay, so that's the phone and WhatsApp campaign. That's one of our leading campaigns. The second campaign is our website. The website right now is very limited based on a few things. One, Vidi's right about bait. We've talked to owners before. They're not very active online, right? And we also know that the search traffic, even if we win the SEO game, Fira, even if we win the SEO game for Bali property management, which we have, and property management Bali, which we have too, you're still looking at not that much traffic. You're looking at maybe 100 visits a month. So it's not going to be a ton of conversions. 3% conversion is the regular sort of conversion rate. So you're talking about maybe 3 potential leads a month for website traffic. That's the number 2 campaign. The new idea that I've been thinking about is, can we take BVE Talk's approach and put that on marketing, right? So think about BVE Talk, Vidi. Over the past 2 weeks, we have a ton of brand awareness now with 2 kinds of people in data science, right? There's a lot of people who want to learn about data science that we've made a lot of approaches to. They know about Bukit Vista. And there's a lot of people who are data scientists now, and they know about Bukit Vista. Just in the process of organizing this event, we've created a lot of brand awareness, targeted brand awareness about Bukit Vista. When we have the event tomorrow, there's going to be more people who will know Bukit Vista and data science, and this will mesh together. And then we have another event coming after that, and so on and so forth. So what I'm beginning to think about is, can you use webinars, this is to Rizal, as a marketing tactic, right? As a way to draw an audience. Now, we have to be smart. Just like a BVE Talk, that does not bring together all our employees, right? That brings together current employees, people considering to be an employee, and maybe people who are brand aware about Bukit Vista, just like the funnel shows. So maybe we need to start hitting the funnel at the very top. People who are thinking about using Bukit Vista, people who are considering using Bukit Vista, and also people who currently are in the Bukit Vista funnel too. The reason for that is we're dealing with a lot of tuna right now in the Bukit Vista community. People who just, they don't see it very, they're not in the dolphin category. They're not gonna get bookings one way or the other. So why should they care? But if we start targeting dolphins in our outreach, then I think that could be amplified. But anyway, to answer your question, Vidi, the key constraints, the way I see it in marketing right now, is that we haven't been able to amplify the interest in what we're doing yet, because we don't have good brand awareness in, I think, the overall market.
Yeah, I think that's interesting because, but from the gathering of context itself, we of course we focus and targets on dolphins and whales, right? But we have.
Let me actually ask Rizal about that. Rizal, that's a good question, because we're targeting conversion rates right now. So let's make sure we are targeting dolphins and whales. I'll pass it over to Rizal and Wayana. Have we been getting mostly dolphin and whale type deals, or tuna type deals?
Since we are targeting dolphin, so we are only basically focus on the dolphin. So the whale, we don't actually look for it. We don't look for tuna. So we're mostly looking for a dolphin at least.
Okay.
Similar or fila, that's all, like Bali Prime, like this kind of stuff.
Got it. And if we want to target whales, actually, it wouldn't be too difficult to target whales. I mean, most of these whales have websites, right? And we can start using.
We do not get the high quality complex villa. So until 7 bedroom. So we want looking for a niche, imagine a company want to be in one villa or something. So
yeah, that would be a whale. Yeah, like Sentosa.
So we're looking for that. So we have one in our book, and one we want to try, but market it in different way. Basically, hey, you have a company, wanna like inspire work from Bali, here's a villa for this one like that.
You know what? That is actually a new approach.
Yeah.
What I just said is actually pretty exciting. Instead of actually participating in other people's markets, do we have the capability to create our own market? For example, Shafri has asked us about something here in Bali, right? So this is the head of data science at Gojek. Now, would it be impossible to imagine that he could move his entire team? He says, you know what? It's great here. Why don't you all just move over to Bali and we'll just work out of this gigantic villa complex. You get a villa, I get a villa, we all get villas, and we start.
No, even then, like even like if they wanna more like of course each person like hire apartment, like hey, you pay this apartment, we can hire a villa, we have own villa, and then we split the cost, like that. So
That
I think
I don't think exists yet, but maybe that can be tied into what Joseph is doing. If you're targeting, Joseph's targeting agents. If we already know, there's a proof of concept here already, Vidi, right? If Shafri is coming to Bali, is it too much to believe that if Shafri would bring his team to Bali, right? If Shafri brings his team to Bali, then you have a huge opportunity, right? If everybody in Jakarta relocates to Bali, that would be awesome, right? That would be your new expats.
yeah, it's new like group of friends who want to work together in the same company.
Mhm.
It still pay split, but you get a villa instead of apartment in your room.
Maybe we can bring that topic up at the BVE talk tomorrow. Okay. Do you want? Does anybody want to? Hey, maybe we could host them. We just make it like we do a sponsorship thing. Okay. Anyway, the reason we bring this up is it could be. Oh, actually, I didn't plan on bringing this up. This is just something that just sparked. But this would be a new market, and this would be the most reliable market that I could think about, right?
I think it can be work because like I see that a couple of people come to Bali for work.
Right.
Their friend also encourage their friend, hey, why don't you bring your friend here and then split the cost like an apartment like that.
So once again, why don't we do that? Why don't we prove the concept and then see if so instead of reaching out for BVE talks, we reach out and say, hey, do you want to get a group of friends to work in Bali? We will be our first customer and we'll sponsor a villa or something. Yeah. And we'll try to make it cheap or something so that we can get a tail of this.
Yeah.
Let's go over to Vidi. Vidi, you spent time in Jakarta, right? Is that something that you could envision happening, or is that
Yeah, well, of course. That's why I'm in Jogja right now.
right?
Yeah.
Actually, it's what we're all doing, right? Lilith is in Kintamani,
Yes, sir.
right? So why can't somebody at Gojek do the same as what we're doing? Why be stuck in Jakarta when you could be in Bali? Okay.
This is actually the idea that I brings up a long time ago.
Yeah,
And
this is
you,
small idea.
what is that brainstorming, sir?
Yeah.
I said about targeting organization that's still like having cash flow, right? So we can invite them to stay in a property for working. But on that time, your question to me is there any cross city traveling? That's the question.
And that plan was yes or no?
No, that time.
It's a good idea now. Context is different now.
Yeah, perhaps we need to see the flying tickets business.
There's flights every day. I see planes in and out of the airport all the time now. Yeah, and they're not expensive either. They're not like they're kind of like pre-coronavirus rates at the moment. Okay. Anyway, I think we just triggered an interesting idea. I think this should be followed up. Does anybody want to follow up on that? So for this to work, Lewis, we need somebody to pull on the demand side. Maybe Vidi, maybe you can get this conversation started. Could you kind of ask Shafri, would he consider moving his team to Bali? And let's just get one data point. Not formally, just casually, right? Like, hey, look, you're coming. Are you gonna? Would you ever need more properties or more villas or something like that? if he likes the idea, this could be like the students again, babe, right? Like our first year, where essentially the company is sponsoring their employees to work in remote locations. And
Not even necessarily their company sponsoring. Instead of they paying apartment in Jakarta, so instead of they paying on apartment, and then if they split it up, I believe apartment in Jakarta is not cheap. Like
yeah,
if they split it up amongst friends, will be like it's just like a group of friends that works
like maybe
in company. Yeah, it's like hey, why do we sitting around in Jakarta? Okay, let's go to Bali and rent a villa and then split the cost, like that kind of stuff. Like it's
has
you're gonna.
anybody started this trend yet? This seems like so obvious, right? But I don't know why nobody is doing it yet.
Yeah, there is one guest in Sun and Moon villa, and then
Yeah.
bring the friend come to
Wait,
Bali.
okay, so this is proven already. This is not a hypothetical. This is actually happening.
But there was a small scale, like 2%.
Okay, in that particular case, this is what we advertise. That we advertise this type of arrangement. Hey, are you getting sick of Jakarta? Do you not like smog? Come to Bali, stay here for the same as what you would pay back home and work remote.
Might be more inspired word like that. Hey, like you
Well,
wanna
that's my first draft. That's my first draft.
Yeah, if I could add, I mean, I don't know the situation that well in Indonesia, but I can see the trend happening in Europe. Like people are leaving major cities because it's cheaper. So I think you really have to like drive it home. It's cheaper if you can go to Bali. And just I think make sure they know that they can work easily from your properties because they'll be working.
It is. Okay, good. Yeah, no, a lot of the properties are super sweet. Okay.
Yeah. A lot of people from Madrid are just leaving to like tiny villages outside because they can have like these huge houses and stuff that are way cheaper, and they can work from home. So like very easily.
Urbanization again. Wow, return.
Yeah,
to the countryside.
it's happening.
It's happening in the Bay Area too, Tara. Yeah, for everyone else, this is happening at a macro scale. I know this is happening in New York and also San Francisco. The median rent prices are going way down. They don't need to pay that much rent if they are going to work remote. What's the point, right? So this could be our way out of this mess. Wait, let's go over to Lilith. Do you see a bigger? Okay, I'm assuming shit is going to keep on happening, right? I'm not assuming anything will get better. So I'm going to assume the airport's going to be closed until I see like international. They are coming, but okay, whatever. But okay, I'm going to assume that the government's not going to do any help for us, right? Because historically it hasn't shown. So I'm going to assume things are just going to be kind of like status quo or more or less the same. If that's the situation, is this the biggest opportunity then, from your perspective, Lilith?
Things that we discussed just now, right?
The idea of getting
Bringing the
major
right.
cities in Indonesia to work remotely from Bali.
Yeah, we should give a try of it. I mean, since we also have, I think I have bandwidth for that, and also we have Joseph and Tara and Frida. Sorry, why I'm mentioning Frida? Frida, I mean, and other things that I just come up in my mind is like not university relationship, but like B2B or something. We reach out to their HR or something like
Yes.
program about the
Yes.
company.
That goes up to the next discussion that I have. Actually, this is about how I think we've been targeting our marketing incorrectly. And I want to discuss that. Lilith, can I then just ask you to sort of get started on this idea, right? So, can we form like a program around let's call Jakarta Exodus, right? Like leave Jakarta, come to Bali. Some type of idea around that, and making this more normal. This could be the next big thing, and then this will get us just in time to the winter, and maybe I don't know if like it'd be good if the Russians came back this winter because that's usually when they start traveling again, sometime around December, January. But they have so many more barriers to go through, right? Like this visa thing. But this I think is one of the better ideas at the moment.
Right.
Okay,
I agree with you, sir, and I'm sure we'll start this idea with helps of many people,
cool. Joseph.
especially regarding the what is that the networking to other company.
Okay, Joseph. I think Fira had a question too as well.
Yeah. Okay, Kira, please.
Uh, Actually, this is not a question. I just want to ask and add something about the idea that we're about to take Jakarta's people or the urban peoples to work in Bali. And as what Tara has said, she stated, what is it? When we want to like attract them by tell them like you can you better stay in Bali and to stay in a place which is closer to work, right? So but I think I don't know what is the intention. I think do is it for people that will work remotely in Bali and their office is outside Bali or far away from Bali, or for people that is actually that this person is working in Bali and their office is in Bali as well. If it's the second case, so I think I see that our property is mostly in Canggu and what is it in Nusa Dua, which is not close to like close to like industries or offices. I think
First group.
so.
First group.
Yeah,
Fira.
yeah. So I think maybe if it's the second case, we can like expand our market to properties in Denpasar, like in Sanur or
Okay.
and
Interesting.
everywhere.
Okay.
That's
Great.
I just
Oh,
want to
yeah.
point out that.
Thank you for that point. Let's go over to Vidi. Vidi, do you see what's the pros and cons of that idea for what Fira just said?
First, for the Exodus, I think it might work, but I've heard some news that starting from December, actually people are working from office already. I believe people are starting to go to office right now. That's
Really?
why the clusters of Corona from offices in Jakarta. But for the one that we can target is very specific, mostly startups, right?
Yep.
Like IT startups are still working from home,
Right.
I
Okay.
think like
like
Shopee
small
and
businesses.
Unilever is also working from home. I
Yeah,
guess my
Okay.
friend also Shopee.
Okay. This
yeah,
is great.
and
People like
even if,
us.
yeah, even if some are working from home, I believe there are shifts, right?
Shift.
Yeah, so there are shifts. So
Perhaps I
people
don't.
are working like going to office like twice a week or like
Oh,
once in two
no,
weeks.
no, no. My friend is coming back to Bali until December. They are working from home until December.
Yeah, so just be specific with the
Yeah,
like company or that we want to reach out to.
I
Okay.
guess.
Some of them are starting to work from office starting from December, I believe. And then for the next one, for the marketing, I think it might work because, and also we are trying to prove the concept by there's one project by Kagani to scrape for like the data across Bali as opposed to the internal data that we have right now. And
Okay.
if we can see the demand rising in some particular areas, then we can figure out from that data. So
There you go. Okay.
yeah.
So, good idea, Fira. So we'll take a look at the data, see if there is rising demand for areas outside of Canggu and Nusa Dua. If there is, then perhaps we should position ourselves in those particular spots. Okay. Good. Okay. Good stuff. Joseph, let's bring ourselves up to the top. Let me sort of discuss something that I've noticed. So I've been inspired by BBE Talk. And the funny thing, I believe, is BBE Talk originally came from you, Lilith, right? I think it originally started with you.
Just started webinar, not BC
Tracy,
talk.
Tracy.
Right, right. So I talked to Cynthia today because I thought Cynthia came up with it, and then she gave you credit for it because she said that your original webinars inspired her to kind of take BBE Talk. But okay, this is kind of a strategy thing. So if we can go up to the top, whoever has control of the board, I'll show you guys something that I think is pretty interesting. Okay, so what I've put on the on that paper there is it's a Maslow pyramid. Okay, so let's talk about HR. Let's talk about HR. Oh God, we're over time. Sorry. All right, no time for talking about that. But okay. Yeah. Okay, we're done. Back to the show.
Oh yeah. Okay. Thank you, sir. So, uh, do we got another discussion that is urgent because we have already surpassed time?
I'll keep this smaller and more focused then, right? So this is a strategy discussion. So this is very vague. This is very cloudy, and we're going to try to make the cloudiness into something more concrete. So it's not mandatory, but if you want to stay, I guess you can stay. If you have something else to do that's more concrete, then please do that. That's the way I'll put it. Yeah.
Okay. So yeah. Okay. So I think we will extend the meeting, but it is based on your choice. You can leave or you can stay.
Okay, and it's fine. Look, if you have something else to do, I fully appreciate it. If you want to kind of check this out, this is an idea that I have. I want to kind of make it a little bit more concrete. All right, so let me tell you the story.
Announcement, teacher, and I need to leave. I need to send a contract to
Okay,
new.
all right, that's good.
Okay. Well, okay. Well, thank you. Well.
I need to leave as well. I still have class.
Okay, all right.
Okay.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone.
Okay, so this is something that okay. If you're here remaining, I'll assume that you're here to listen. Yeah. Okay. About a year ago, we were really struggling with HR. We had a really difficult time getting our HR right. And part of that reason was it's the same problem that I see with getting our community right. The problem we had with HR was that we were aligning only at a transactional level with the people in the company. Everything was tied to pay, everything tied to bonus, tied to all these external motivations. So I kind of studied the Maslow pyramid of, let's say, an employee, right? So if you look at a Maslow pyramid of employee, the very first level, the base level is money. The second level is recognition. The highest level is meaning and purpose, okay? So meaning and purpose. And I discovered something along the way. I noticed that the people who actually performed the best in our company were the people who originally came in for a meaning and purpose. And how? Because we advertised meaning and purpose when we found these people, right? We went and we gave the original university relations lectures. So we're talking about the purpose of our company. We're talking about the meaning. And so that brought in a very change into the DNA of the composition of what we did, of who we are as a company, okay? So HR now has avoided to recruit, and hopefully you guys have seen improvements in the intern Kent's coming into as well, that we are targeting specifically at meaning level, not at recognition or even at transaction level. We're always targeting at meaning level. So that's why we give the BVE talks. It's really to kind of instill this, okay, what is our purpose for being here? Why is our work actually changing the world? And how can we help you positively transform, right? So that's what we've done in HR, and I think it's doing a lot better. Let's go over to marketing, all right? So their goal is to bring in new properties. It's not that way at all. Not that way at all. Most marketing is brought in at transaction level. We will give you guests, you will give us the property, we will rent it for you, you will get returns. That is kind of like the most basic level of an engagement. Joseph, you can scroll down a little bit. I'll explain kind of like what the next tier is. So I see property partners in a way as investors, right? So they're essentially putting their asset into Bukit Vista. We manage their assets. So they're giving us this investment and we manage it. We get a portion of it. They get the majority, right? Just as kind of normal investors would work. So we have transaction alignment for the majority of our properties, right? But as soon as the transaction alignment stops, we don't hear from them anymore. As long as the guest houses, they don't get any more bookings, they whatever, it's really hard for the community to approach them. Of course, because that was where we engaged them. We engaged them at the transaction level. Some properties we have a relationship with. The people could obviously do it themselves. Claire, last night, Claire gave us a Christmas booking for a month, right? So she gave us the Christmas booking for Sunrise House. She got it herself, but she said, I want Bukit Vista to take care of it for me. Now you might want to wonder why, right? It's not because of transaction. She's giving the money up herself. It's the relationship. So she's at that level. The highest level, and that's the level where I think we need to start going into if we want to get dolphins and whales is the legacy level. The legacy level is where you start really getting the really super good properties. Okay. Do you guys know how WeWork gets a new building? Lilith, how does WeWork get a new building?
To be honest, I don't have any capability on that.
Okay.
Visibility.
No visibility. Okay, let's go to Vidi. Vidi, do you know how WeWork? Do you know how they get a new building?
Sorry, I don't get the first part. We work?
WeWork, the co-working giant.
Oh no, I don't know about WeWork. Yeah.
All right, Joseph, do you know how WeWork gets a new building? How do they always get new buildings in the best areas? In Sudirman, in Orchard Row, in Madison Square? How are they always able to get these perfect buildings in the middle of the busiest sections of a city?
Maybe because they perform well in the past, so that they can
Transaction.
they can promise something. Yep.
That would be a transaction alignment, right? Based on past performance, I trust you because you can carry on future performance, right? But Tara, do you know anything about WeWork and how they acquire buildings?
No, I don't think I've ever heard of them.
You never heard of WeWork?
We work. No. Oh, okay. I just searched them, and they do have a place in Madrid. I've never heard of them though.
Wow, they're huge. They're like the world's largest co-working. Okay, anyway, WeWork is the world's largest co-working group. They're also a big failure these days. They went bankrupt. But okay, this is how they got a building. One of my friends worked there, and he told me their sales pitch. It's very, very interesting. The way that WeWork gets a building is that somebody will approach a new building under construction in a major hub of the city. They'll find the owner from looking at the contractors, and they do the same thing we do, right? So they'll figure out who the owner is. The owners are generally 60 to 80-year-old men, right? So they're pretty much old men. And what WeWork does is they pick them up, they put them on a private jet or give them a first-class plane ticket to fly to the New York headquarters of WeWork, the only building that WeWork actually owns. The other buildings, they just are tenants there. They have the building owner meet with their executive team, and the executive team takes them on a one-day tour. They show them the building, they show them all the cool things inside the building, they show them all the beautiful people, they show them all this technology happening, they explain to them each of these tenants, how they're changing the future, and then they go outside the building. They go outside the building and they walk around the building, and it's just like, it's like all the high-end shops are there, right? Like, I don't know, not H&M, but all the high-end shops are all surrounding this. There's like an Apple store. There's all these things all over the building because the tenants in the building all are young professionals with money. So they, it's a really cool neighborhood around the WeWork building. So they tell them the story of the original WeWork building. They say that this building was abandoned, this neighborhood was shit, and basically nothing was happening here before. But we came in and we started doing WeWork here, and it transformed the neighborhood. Why? Because the tenants were all very young, they had money, they have lots of disposable income, and they started making this neighborhood really cool. And now this is one of the most beautiful sections of the city. So then they drop the deal on the owner. They say, this is our offer. 10-year lease, 5 years free. First 5 years are free. We split the cost of renovation 50-50. Most of the owners say yes. Why? There's no transaction here, right? It's not like I'm going to give you any money. I'm going to give you no money for 5 years. Why do they do it? Why do you think they do it, Tara?
I'm not really sure. Yeah, I don't know. Actually,
You're the owner of this $100 million building in the middle of the busiest part of the city, right? Some person comes up to you and asks you for 5 years rent free, and they're going to take like 10 floors of the building. You would tell them, go to hell, right? I'm here to get paid. What the hell? Like, why would I give you 5 years for free? Joseph, why do you think they say yes?
Maybe because he sees something big 10 years from now.
Okay, Vidi, why do you think they say yes?
Future projections that after the 5 years they will get more back.
No, not at all. Not at all. Not at all. Let's go over to Lilith. Not at all. Lilith, why do you think they say yes?
Um, brand awareness first, like I mean, building from zero, other people building from zero, then we get it like after.
Okay, not quite. Remember the age, Vidi, of these people, right? Remember the age of these people, Lilith. These are 60 to 80-year-old men. They're about 5 to 10, maybe 10 years away from like their lifespan, right? Next 10 years, they're probably going to be dead. So when they agree to a transaction like this, they're not agreeing because of return on investment. They're not returning to whatever. They've done that already. They've done that for 40, 50 years, right? The thing that they care about the most is the legacy. They care about how this building will be seen after I'm dead, right? Will this building be in a center area that's thriving, or will this building be a flop house, right? And what WeWork promises them is that their legacy is in good hands. That if you turn to us and let us manage it, your legacy will be beautiful. It will be carried forward in the best way possible. That's why the whales say yes. It's not about money anymore. They've got lots of money. It's not about the relationship anymore. They know how that works. What they crave is that they crave legacy. Does that make sense? Okay. So how does that apply to Bukit Vista? If you think about our best owners, right? Our best owners don't care about if one transaction is right, the other transaction is wrong. That's not their thing. They care a lot more about the relationship, right? They care that when they close their eyes at night, they know that we're doing our best to manage their property. A lot of them care specifically about their staff. They care a lot about their staff. They care a lot about how their staff are treated. They care about how their staff grow up. Claire gave Suparsa a house, right? Why? Why is she doing that? She cares about her legacy. She cares about how she's going to be seen, right, in the future. So does Mark Mannion at Villa Benin. They all care a lot about their legacy. The richest people always care about their legacy. They care about how they're going to be seen. So brings me to the point. How do we attract this type of person? We start talking about legacy. We start advertising. We start thinking about legacy. We care about our legacy, right? We want to be around for hundreds of years. So why don't we start bringing that as a topic of conversation for market building? Do you want people to really, really experience joy through your creation here? Do you want thousands of people to go back and tell their friends what a great time and how life-changing their experience in your property was? That's why you joined Bukit Vista. Right? Okay, so it's a different approach. It's not a transactional approach. It's not like I'm going to get you guests, I'm going to get you ROI. It's more thinking about like I'm thinking about how your property is your legacy and where you're going to be a good guardian of your legacy. We're going to be good stewards of your legacy. Okay? All right. Does that kind of change anybody's thinking? Does that positively transform anyone's thinking? Let's go to Lilith.
Actually, this is very inspirational if we can get the owner like this. And perhaps I would like to share a story. The owner of Rumah Taman Kutu. Perhaps this owner in the level of legacy, because we only bring 1 month, one booking for 1 month guests and some short term rentals. But yesterday, like she texted me like, "Hi Lilis, where are you now? Can we meet when I come to Bali? I'd like to say thank you to Bukit Vista for managing my property."
Oh my God!
Yeah, I don't know why she said like that. I mean, the communication between me and her is good, and also our team is also helping so much. Perhaps for the beginning, before we I mean, being a partner, I don't really know how to get a legacy, but the legacy will grow as long as we can serve as in a good way. I mean, we cannot give them money, but the service that we give is really meaningful to them. Even we can't like giving money to them. It's also happened with Pondok Nini Villa.
There you got it.
Like
It's even more. It's an alignment of core values. It's an alignment of values. That's why they like you. It's like your values are my values. So even if we're not successful, at least I still like you. Think of nonprofit organizations. Think of Bill and Melinda Gates Foundation. It's they're giving money away, right? They're taking their billions and they're just like, here you go, 100 million for cancer, 100 million for like polio. But it's because they share the values. And instead of what it goes back to the core values and the mission, right? So instead of saying, hey, look, what we're going to do is we're going to get you guests, why don't we sell, we're going to inspire delight through your innovative property that will positively transform guests, that will positively transform us, that will positively transform you. Back to the mission again. And we celebrate that. We stick to that as our marketing line. And that is, once again, it's a more compelling reason to be part of this community. It's a more compelling, it's more sticky too, as well. It's good business and it's good community. It just makes a lot of sense. And people already feel it, right? So thank you, Lilith, for sharing that story. That inspires me. What about you, Vinny? What do you think about this idea?
Generally, I kind of agree if you want to head that way, but there's a reason why the legacy part takes up less area compared to the whole company, right?
There's less whales, right? And there's less.
Yes. And in terms of demand and supply, you have to know that if you have these types of whales, just like I imagine what you say is very similar to what Luxury Retreats is doing. They are only taking the top 1% of like number of properties, right?
But that's why they failed. They didn't have a complete marketplace, right?
Yes, that's the thing.
You need to have a complete marketplace, and that's understandable. Luxury retreats, I think, focus too narrow on
the legacy part.
that couldn't pivot. And also, they did something stupid. They didn't ever change the price. I guess that's
They only
the
give
whole thing too. Yeah, Lois?
Yeah, they only give recommendation, right? And
Yeah.
don't have any like when the owners say no, they don't convince
They
them.
didn't try to convince them either, right?
Yeah.
So that could be a blocking point that we notice. But we need to agree what it is, right? At the beginning. If it's all about just price, then whales you don't need to sell a lot. You just need to sell a few and they do a lot of movement for you, right? But Vidi, think about it this way too. A company. Okay? If you let's say if you only have a transactional company like Gojek. Gojek has the majority of their company workforce is transactional. People just do things because they're getting paid 20,000 to deliver food or 20,000 to pick up somebody. But the core of their management is not that way, right? The people who work in the Gojek office don't think of everything as just transactional. They think of career, they think of meaning. So I think it is going to be a composition. No matter what, you're going to need some tuna. That's just what people want. So, okay, that's it.
I mean, like going back to the theory, right? This is the theoretical definition from Maslow theory of needs. People will progress higher to the hierarchy only if their basic foundation is already fulfilled.
Yes.
So therefore, for example, in this case, in the survive sector, we'll have to at least, and that's why I agree. That's why luxury retreat fails because they do not cover enough foundation, right?
Great.
And therefore, it's just like, how should I explain this? I understand like the essence of what we're trying to achieve, but is it the right time to do it, or do we have to
Yes.
target the
We know
booster?
there's dolphins. We know there's demand for dolphins.
Yes.
Our approach to capture dolphins has always been maybe not the right approach, right? We always come in on a transactional line. We should come in with transaction behind legacy, right? Rather than transaction in front of legacy. We don't even think about legacy. We don't even.
Actually, I'm a bit confused, sir.
Yeah.
So tunas are things that people want, right? That is very
Minimum
company.
quality, maximum supply.
Yes, but in a sense, tuna is the thing that works in the market right now.
You're right. You're right. We have dolphins are tunas now, and whales are. It's sort of yeah. You can
Yeah, that's why when you mentioned that alchemist shift, it can also mean that the dolphins that we have before and the things that we consider dolphin right now are actually tunas right now, and the tunas right now are basically like, uh, let's say, garbage in the ocean,
yes, or even
something like that,
dolphins are
right?
garbage in the ocean right now.
Yes,
Before
yes.
it's
That's
just
why there's a shift, and yeah, you can think of it that way. So the dolphins that we have right now, the villas, are actually tunas
yes,
because people are demanding it like in bulk right
yes.
now. And even if we see from the price wise,
That's right.
it drops to a tuna level.
Yes, exactly. But the
And
owner hasn't changed. The owner is still approaching as a dolphin owner.
yeah, perhaps because I'm not sure. Like the difference of mindset between the dolphin or what, but at this situation, don't people think more of transactional unless their transactional part are already achieved? For example, like this is an example of a good whale, sir.
Mhm.
In my opinion, like Elliot, right?
At
Elliot is like an example of a whale that I can confidently say like he does not really care about the transactional level
all.
at all because as you've seen, like tortoise beachfront, he's selling it for like 15 million, for
Yeah.
example. But a lot of our villas right now that does not convert, or at least we're having difficult time to convert, is actually dealing with the transactional level itself.
Good. Elliot
And
sees things a little bit differently than most
yes,
people, right?
that's why he's
Elliot is
like,
nama pertama, is that correct?
No,
no,
Justin.
tortoise.
Justin, yeah.
Oh,
Tortoise. Elliot is a multi-generational Bin and Bali person, right?
Yeah, correct.
I got to hang out with Elliot's mom one time, and it's pretty interesting. They have a very, they've been here long enough where they know more or less how hard it is to find good health, right? So they know it's hard to find somebody reliable. Elliot told me once that he counts on corruption. He counts on like there's going to be some corruption happening no matter what. He's just so sure that it's going to happen. He's already calculated that into his business equation. So for him, this particular exercise is like this. I believe he believes in us, that he knows that nobody else is probably going to do better, and he doesn't want to change horses midstream anyway. Um, this is a very maybe this is more of a Western idea, right? Where this is called changing horses midstream. You're in the middle of a river and you're like, this sucks, right? On my horse, this horse might not be able to cross the river. So you jump on another horse, but then the other horse does worse, right? And you get sort of you sort of trade the devil you know versus the devil you don't know. Elliot and a lot of really wealthy people I've noticed their approach to life is very simple.
Yes.
Minimum bullshit, right? Minimum bullshit. And money is not the key thing for bullshit, right? There's a lot of other things that could actually make the whole thing even worse. They've seen it go that way before. They've had like bad partnerships. They have people who like steal money from them. So from Elliot's perspective, I think no transaction is better than negative or essentially corruption or anything that brings things down. So that's kind of like his perspective, right? He's got enough resources that this doesn't really upset him, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm trying to say. That's why his transactional and maybe like virtual alignment is already fulfilled. That's why he turns to this so-called legacy. And I just wanted to make sure one thing, sir. Do you separate the property itself and the owners to consider whether they are whales, dolphins, and
Very good question. I do not at the present, but you are right. You are right. Some of the biggest whales, some of the real owner whales, don't have like Mark Villabene he's pretty well off, right? His wife, I think, managed a superannuation fund of $50 billion or something. So they're even though the villa is it's not bad.
yeah, that's why. But we can see from the owner itself, they're acting like whales.
Yeah, they are the whales. But You can also be pretty sure of this, Vinny. If somebody has a very top of the line villa, they're probably a whale, right? Not a lot of people, with the exception of maybe Uber Lily, right, will spend a significant chunk of their income on a holiday home. Generally, it's like a toy, right? It's
Yeah.
like, I've got like 1-2% of my money that I'm not using anyways, and it doesn't really make me happy just to have the cash. So why don't I buy a holiday home in Bali just to entertain myself, right? So you can kind of just rule of thumb say that the person's wealth is generally 20 to 30 times more than the property value, right? So that's no, you're right. You're right. The person and the attitude might not always be the same either. There might be whales who are but they never feel secure, right? They always feel like I need to get every penny out of it. You could have that too, and then you don't have that relationship. Okay, my point is this, Vinny. My point is this. Not to make this too long. My point is we don't advertise we don't attract, we don't create brand awareness that we are looking for that type of relationship. And that type of relationship should be looking for us. We do not. We just simply go and we advertise that we're looking to give you guests. Okay? So even if somebody is at that point, they wouldn't treat us as a person who understands their particular issue because we're not targeting that. So what I'm suggesting now is this. Let's take that idea we got at BVE Talk, right, which was applied to our employee funnel. Why don't we take that idea and we start applying it to our marketing funnel? So in our community funnel, right, which is part of the marketing funnel, instead of going out and just looking for transaction, maybe we hold BVE Talks to talk about how to get your property to do really well in the next 20 years, right? How to then maximize, how to leverage the best interior design so that guests will be stunned by your design.
I see.
These are things that people who think about legacy give a shit about, and they're willing to spend quite a lot on. These are not things that people who don't give a shit and just transaction.
I agree. And that's why, like, for example, like the first step we do in our marketing funnel is actually revenue projection, right? So that's very transactional.
Yes.
What do you think about that?
Yes, you're correct. That is very transactional. We should instead start celebrating design, art, culture, these guest experiences, this type of thing, right? Oh, our guest is the Shah of Iran, right? Or whoever. This type of thing then gets the people who like legacy to really think about, you know what, that's cool. Bukit Vista, you guys hang out with a crowd of people that I like. And just like how we bring two groups of people together, chicken and the egg, like, with BVE Talks, I think this is how we can evolve ourselves to the next level, right? We start thinking more about how do we project ourselves as they like to call it luxury, but I'll just call it legacy company, right? Like a company that really thinks about the deeper meaning behind things, not just how do I get you money, right? If it's always going to be how I get you money, then you're correct, Vidi. It's always very transactional. You need to have that, right? Because like you said, the Maslow pyramid needs to be complete. So there's no whatever about this, but surprisingly, there are people who only care about legacy and not one bit about anything else. And I know because these are the people who own the 5-star brands in Bali. They seem to be perfectly fine running at 0% occupancy and charging $1,000 a night, right? Obviously, it's like no transactions at all. But why not for us, right? Like, let's say if we can get in that and we can try it out. And we also need the transactions too. We work on commission. But maybe we don't. Maybe we don't need to work on commission. Maybe in those particular categories we work on a fixed salary or whatever it is. Because, hey, we got to get paid to support your legacy, right? So that's what I'm saying. When you start reaching that level, I think the air sort of becomes a little bit different and we can start thinking a little bit differently. All right, how are we going to apply this? Same that we applied to BVE Talk. Instead of going to colleges and saying, you should get a job here, we will pay you this much money. No, right? We talk about what are the interesting problems we're working on? How are we going to change the world? What is it going to feel like when you're able to do your own projects? What is it going to feel like when you can start seeing impact in the work that you do and that starts changing the world that we're in? What does it feel like to change an industry? These then become we find equivalent topics to motivate the property owners. And then now we start getting the right composition in our community, right? So we'll get new people coming into the community who really believe in it, and that hopefully will regenerate and create a new tier of legacy type investors. And then our job becomes easier, right?
Yep. I agree.
Yep. Okay.
I agree.
So that's a strategy level discussion. So our strategy is to move away from tuna more towards whales, right? But if we're going to catch whales, we really need to think about what do whales want to eat? What is
Yes,
bait,
right.
so to speak, right? Whales don't eat the same thing that dolphins or tuna eat. So, okay?
Yep.
Okay,
I agree.
cool. All right, hopefully that makes sense. Let me go over to Tara. Tara, how was that? Was that interesting for you?
Oh, it was really interesting. I don't think I've ever thought about, because like legacy is such a long-term thing to want to, I guess, offer people. And I guess I've never thought of thinking that long-term or offering something like that big, I guess. So it was very new for me to hear. Yeah.
Desire in a different segment, right? So, like, if you have a lot of money already, if you have a lot of network already, what do you want more, right? Like, people who don't have money want money. People who have money want relationships, right? They want relationships because relationships are generally
Right.
not boyfriend girlfriend relationships, but you know,
Right.
the relationships with this vendor, with this relationship with our clients, this
Right.
sort of stimulates. But people with a lot of money and relationships, they generally want to be seen in a positive way now, right? Maybe they stepped on a lot of toes.
Right.
Maybe they pissed off a lot of people. Maybe whatever happened. But now that they're on top, they want the people around them to say good things about them when they talk about their name. Like the guy who funded my building in college. Did you know that there's a Suteja, the guy who built the engineering building at Berkeley? He was Indonesian, actually. Marvel Semiconductors. Wait, let me get his name. Suteja. Sahat Sutarja. Yeah, Sahat Sutarja. He was Indonesian, went to Berkeley, started a semiconductor company, and then he built a building for himself on campus. And I had no idea this guy was Indonesian this whole time. I was always walking through the doors, but why did he do it? Why did he spend like $50 million on this building? He wants people to remember him, right? He wants people to say, "Hey, look, that guy's awesome." And guess what? It just happened. We just talked about it, right? Here now, 10 years later, whatever. So, okay, Joseph, what is your takeaway? What do you think about this idea?
Yeah, it sounds good. So I mean, I also experienced maybe the legacy thing with Claire, because I asked her for price negotiation, and every time I ask, she never say no. It's like she don't care about it, and I think maybe we already got owners that care only about legacy, and if we can find more about it, it will be good for us.
Yeah. Claire is an investor as well for Vidi and Lillis. You guys should know that. She invests a lot in startups. So for her, this idea of losing money for good causes is something that a lot of people are actually kind of used to, right? They seriously see long term. I might lose for 4 years, and then in the end, I win. I've heard so many rich people tell me that story, actually. You know, like I remember this one guy, he was an interior designer in Japan. He had Guard, one of the leading interior designers. He told me on and on about all the times where he kept on investing in these things. Nobody else thought it would work. But finally, when it worked, it was like 1,000 times more profitable than anything else because he had started when it was very, very early. So I think what you're seeing when you're seeing these people, like they're probably investing in you. They're probably thinking you can do it. You know, I just want to see what happens later, which means that we're in a good position when people believe in us like that. It's good to hear that. Lillis, you're experiencing some of that now too. And Vidi, I think you're experiencing that too with the Blue Lily, right? If they stop asking questions, it probably means that they just go, you know what, you probably know better. I'm not gonna fight anymore. And Blue Lily's paying us on deals that she's getting herself now, right? So that also shows that they value the relationship more. Okay, anyway, I'm done talking. I'll let you guys go. But hopefully this is a strategy change, and we can start implementing this strategy change with just thinking about it differently first, and then making more progressive actions that start reflecting this change in thought. Okay. Greatness and greatness. I'll let you guys go. Bye bye. Vinny, I need you for a second. Yeah.